Next, we'll review a bit and then spend more time on megaformulas. So here we have some data from Amy. She was one of my students. Amy works at a medical clinic which likes to make their data as confusing as possible and as hard to put into a usable format as possible. Yet they really like solid revenue numbers without all the other text in the way. When she asks IT to put it into an easy-to-use format, they hem and haw, drag their feet, and say it'll take them a long time and it may not be possible. Apparently, they're unaware of the power of megaformulas and text manipulation. So, first of all, let's review by doing text to columns. I'd like you to take a few minutes and do this yourself if you can. Highlight these and pull out the revenue number. Now that's this first number here between the two dollar signs. Go ahead and do that. Okay, now let me do it with you. So we say data, data tools, text to columns, and I'm going to do something additional than what I asked you to do. I'm going to pull off the invoice number first of all, just to review fixed width. So I would come down here to fixed width and go next, and the invoice number are these first 5 digits, and I'll just say I want to go next and put it into this next square here and hit finish. Okay, now we can always back up if we need to. And then next I'm going to say, let's highlight these and pull out that revenue number. So I do Data Tools, Text to Column, and I'm say, there's a dollar sign on each side of it. So if I separate out by the dollar sign, that might be a good way to approach it. So I go to Next. Doesn't have tabs, but it does have Other, and I'll put in the dollar sign. Oh, look, I can see that it's pulling those apart just the way I want to, and so I'll just say Finish. Now I have the dollar amount of revenue here, and if I put in some of that, I've got a total of $266 2/3 million. Okay, well that worked quite fast and quite well. Sometimes we can do it other ways. Remember when we did flash fill? Let's go down and try that once down here. So I say, let's put in 99, 849, 629, and I'll put enter. We'll need to make these a little bit wider for this. And I Control E, or I come up here to flash fill. It pulled out those numbers this time very well. In fact, let's add them up and see if that adds up right. Yes, we get the same total. Now that doesn't always happen. One time in class I pulled that up, and this one pulled out the 40 minus 64 and put that in with the number as well. We don't have access to the underlying algorithm. Some computers it works nice on, and sometimes it will work different, also depending on the version of Excel you have. In this case, that would be a nice way to go if you only needed to do it one time. But we know we can always do it very quickly using text to columns and won't have any errors. Now let's try this out as a megaformula. Go ahead and put the formula starting here in F that will pull out that $99 million and put that into these cells. Go ahead and do that first, and then I'll work through it with you. Okay, we said we want to do this. We'll take baby steps to begin with. We'll start in column F here. And I want to pull out the first dollar sign in A2. So I'll equal find, and I'm going to find the dollar sign, and that will be in A2. I'll make that absolute A. and hit enter, it found it at position 21. And copying that down, you can see where it found each of the dollar signs. Now we need to pull out the second dollar sign. How do we do that? Well, there's another field that's available that's optional in Find where we can say start at a certain point. We'll start in this case not at 21 because I'd pulled this out again, but start at 22, whatever is in F plus 1. So let's do that. To find the second dollar sign, we'll put it in G here. I'll use the find, and again the dollar sign, in A2, absolute A, and then I'll put in comma. There's a third place where we can start counting. I'll start not at 21 because then it would just pick up 21 again, but whatever's in F here, plus 1 would start in 22. And it found another dollar sign at position 33, and we'll copy that on down. Okay, now that we know where the two dollar signs are, we should be able to pull out the number in between. Let's do that. Equals mid, and the text is over here, absolute A2, comma, the start number. I could start right on 21, but it'll pull the dollar sign too. I'll just go to the F2 plus 1, start in 22 where that first 9 is. And then the number of characters. How do I get the number of characters? If I come over here and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters is how many we need to get through the whole number. So that would be 33 minus 21. That would give me, what, 12 characters? So I'll need to make it 2 less. So I'll put in 33 minus 21 minus 2. And we have a number, and it looks like it's the correct number that we pulled out there. And we'll copy it down. Yeah, we're pulling out all the right numbers. Okay, let's sum those up. I'll just copy this over here and paste. And what? I got 0. Why did I get 0? That's right. These are actually strings. They're left justified. And if I put equals is number and click on this, you'll see that it's false. So we need to turn those into numbers. We have strings right now. Well, I could click on them individually and convert them to numbers. But let's do another way that we've already talked about. Remember when we did Boolean, if you tried to multiply a number against Boolean and times 1 or add 0 to it, whenever we did math, we could try and change that into a number. Let's do the same here. I'll just say add 0 to it, or subtract 0, whatever the case may be. And I copy that down. And notice they're all numbers now, and this adds up, and we've got the correct total. Let's see how it works if I copy one of these cells up here, and I come down here and I put in a paste, Control V. What? It doesn't seem to understand what I want. What's wrong? Oh. This formula we copied down had the intermediate cells. We would have had to use F and G. We didn't turn it into a mega formula. Let's go back and do the job right. So we'll come up above and we look at this and say, well, I see F2, G2, and an F2. So all of those need to be replaced. Let's start with the G2. I'll come up here, copy the formula, Control C, escape. And where we have G2 here, I'll double click and do a Control V, enter. I get the same value, it looks good. Now I have 3 F2s to change. So let's go to F2, copy its formula, Control C, escape. And where we find F2, I'll double click and do a paste. Double click, do a paste. Double click and do a paste. And we'll hit enter. Good, I get the right formula. So let's copy these on down. And sure enough, I still get the right values. So I should be able to get rid of these intermediate cells, and it still holds up. So now we've got a good formula. Now let's try copying this. I copy this cell, Control C, and I'm going to come down here and do a Control Paste. Wow, that put it in. Let's put one over here in a different column. Control V, and it found the right amount also. Well, that's nice, but then they have to find the equation and copy it. It'd be a lot easier if we just named the formula. So let's go up here. We've got this formula already here. I've clicked on this row. I copy the whole formula. Escape. And let's go up to define name. I'm going to call this revenue. That's the number we want to pick out. And I'll highlight this and do a Control V. And we've got that in there. Let's go try it, see if that works. So here, if I say equals revenue and enter, it pulled out the number. Let's put it over here. Equals revenue, enter, and it pulled out the number. So now we have a named formula that will do what we want it to do. Efficient and effective every time. Let's skip the next two tabs. Those are work tabs for you to spend time on. It would be useful for you to remember how to do the different things we did last time. We'll go on to the Data tab, though, in the lecture.